people get to a point in life that they just never planned to be.
Right.
How does that happen?
Well, let me tell you why I wrote this book, because that answers the question. As a pastor, I've spent, 25 years talking to people. I've heard every story imaginable, I think. And so many times, halfway through a person's story, I think, well, gosh, didn't you see this coming? I mean, I'm listening to your story, and I already know how this is going to end. And it's not because I'm so insightful. I think anyone could hear just about anyone's story, and you think, wow, didn't you see that coming? So I wrote this book because this is such an obvious thing. It's kind of like, don't run with scissors in your mouth. Do we really have to say that, But the principle of the path says that our direction determines our destination. And that's obvious when you're driving your car. It's obvious when you're on your bicycle. It's obvious when you're hiking in the woods. It's not so obvious in life, but it's just as true. The direction that we take determines where we end up. And so consequently, people have wishes and hopes and dreams and desires. Then they get on a path that takes them in a different direction. And as you said, Taylor, they wake up one day and say, gosh, how did I get here?
Well, one of the things you talk about in the book is the economic downturn that we're in, and you say that that hasn't so much created problems as revealing already existing issues. Talk about that a little bit.
The simple answer to how in the world did our nation get to where we are, the simple answer is we've been on this path for a long time, and every path has a destination. And our nation, just like individuals, we live in denial. We say, well, it's going to work out. It's not going to happen to me. Somebody's going to fix this. Somehow I can stay on this path and avoid the destination. And again, it's so obvious when you think about it that that doesn't work, but we are so good at deceiving ourselves. So consequently, we choose a path, end up where the path leads, and then wonder how we got there.
It sounds almost like when you hear your car making a noise, and you just, you're like, it'll go away.
Exactly.
It'll fix itself.
Right, that light will go off.
Right, and then $2,000 of repairs later, you go, I'm not going to ignore that again.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is a principle that is so easy to see in other people's lives. I mean, every parent, you guys talk to parents, and it's so easy when we see our kids moving in a direction, and we say to our kids, hey, you need to think about where that's going to lead, and our kids say, wait a minute, lead? This is an isolated event. This is just a date. This is just a friend. This is just a weekend. And we say, no, it's a path. Life is dynamic. Life is connected. This is taking you somewhere. And it's so easy to see in other people. It's so difficult to see in the mirror.
And what is the best way to get rid of that emotional fog that you say clouds our decision-making? How can we clear that up?
One of the best ways is the objectivity of having somebody else speak into your life. Because all of us know people who are where we want to be, whether it's marriage, financially, academically, professionally, spiritually. We all meet people from time to time, and we think, gosh, I'd like to have a marriage like that. I'd like to have a friendship like that. I'd like to maintain my dating relationships the way he does or she does. So one of the best things we can do is to go to people who are where we want to be.
The book, again, is The Principle of the Path, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be by Andy Stanley. We really appreciate you being on the show with us today, Andy.
We love the show. Thank you
so much.